A very good evening and welcome to our special pre-election show in which we look at the election issues of ordinary South Africans in the run-up to the national elections on the 7th of May. Good evening. My name's Leanne Mannis. Well, as usual, we begin the program with a brief look at some of the main election stories of the day. A group of smaller opposition parties in Parliament calling itself the Collective for Democracy wants a law that would compel political parties to reveal who their funders are. The group says the run-up to the elections is an opportune time to demand transparency.
It's been a contentious issue, with both the ANC and the DA agreeing that party funders should remain anonymous. The collective seems set on reopening the debate.
Secrecy in respect of party funding is bad for the health of democracy. It allows for unsavory players to undermine the Constitution and the rule of law, and allows for people with money to be able to buy undue influence. And that is to the detriment of the people of South Africa.
If the state would give the political parties 100 million rand, the ANC takes 65 million of that, the DA 14 million, and the smaller parties each get 1 million if they're lucky. But when we have to pay a deposit to take part in the election, we have to pay on an equal basis.
At Beckersdal, west of Johannesburg, the DA Gauteng Premier candidate, Mmusi Maimane, launched an electronic billboard advert that responds to the ANC's "We've Got a Good Story to Tell" advertisement. Maimane urged the people of Beckersdal to show their grievances at the polls.
I believe that DA brings an alternative change. So that advert pretty much speaks to someone who, like me, who understood where we come from and without fail is saying we must choose a better future in a different party that will be able to bring and deliver on the objectives of freedom.
In Durban, the eThekwini municipality received the Freedom Flame from the Ilembe district. It marked the official start of a countdown to the 20 years of democracy. Local government MEC Nomsa Dube and Kube said the flame should serve as a reminder of the achievements of the democratic government.
We are counting down to the time when we are going to be saying in 20 years since democracy, we are going back to the polls. But what do we have to look back to? We have to look back to the fact that 87% of people here in KwaZulu-Natal now have got access to water.
The economic freedom fighters took their election campaign to East London today. The party's national spokesperson, Mbayisilo Ndlozi, said the party had done enough to wrest control of the Eastern Cape from the ANC at the polls next month.
The ANC is terrified. They've followed us everywhere. They've manipulated young people. They've tried to manipulate young people through festivals where there is alcohol. But they are not passing. Our events have always been big. They've made us the business of their campaign, which elevates the very fact that the economic freedom fighters is a threat to them.
And at Bodibe village near Lichtenburg in northwest, the police were forced to use tear smoke and rubber bullets to disperse protesters. The main complaint by residents was a shortage of water and the failure by 2 mines operating at the village to uplift the community through job creation and local development. Roads were barricaded and pupils were forced to join the illegal protest.
There won't be elections in Butibe. It will say Sheila, every village is here.
Some of the protesters were arrested on charges of attending a illegal gathering.
Now, there are various ways in which you at home can participate in tonight's program. Send us your emails to elections@sabc.co.za. You can also SMS us on 33726. That's 33726. Just begin your message with the word vote, and that SMS will cost you R1.50. For tweeters out there, if you'd like to tweet us, please use the hashtag SABC elections, and then we'll pick up your tweet. And you can also find us on Facebook at SABC News Online. All right, let's actually have a look at some of the Facebook messages that we've been receiving. There's one from Mazibuko Dumisani. Voting is the answer. There you go. Thank you very much. Tenton Muzi saying, it's been years, people voting for a better life. What about our Northwest? It does not have development at all. And finally, Pomelo Menyo Boy saying, I think people should stop protesting already and focus on voting for the party they think will bring the change. Why do we have to demolish our beautiful country like this? Let's just stop fighting now. All right, Pomelo, thank you very, very much for writing into us. That's on our Facebook page. Remember, you can also SMS us, tweet us, or email us. We're dying to hear from you. We really are. All right, well, let's go to the Northwest now. The Madibeng local municipality in the Northwest province came under the spotlight earlier this year when violent service delivery protests rocked the area. Erratic water supply to communities within the municipal boundaries saw residents up in arms in Motitlong, Damansville and Majakkanengwere. 5 people, including a 3-month-old baby, died when the protests turned ugly.
Water, a basic right enshrined in the Constitution. But for residents of Madibeng near Brits Northwest, turning on a tap has not been easy. Anger and frustration at erratic water supply in the area led to residents taking to the streets in protest. Protesters clashed with police, and in Mututlung, 4 residents were killed. Audrey Siema's 26-year-old son, Lerato, an electrical engineer, was one of the victims.
All I want to be done is for us to tell us what truly happened, because there are so many allegations around his death. But we know that he was taken from the house and been beaten and been thrown out from the Nyala.
They felt let down by local government leaders. For 3 weeks, the protesters burnt tires and barricaded roads.
We are going to vote soon, and we don't know what to do about our government, you see. So what they should have done, they would have just gave us the water, because we can't live without the water. Water is really important.
The main cause of these things is beginning inside the Madibeng municipality by the employees. In need of money, something like the main thing is tenders, because I think those people working inside the Madibeng, they are those who are involved in tenders.
The protests also spread to Majakkaneng, where vehicles were torched and businesses belonging to foreign nationals looted and vandalized. On the busy N4 highway, police fired tear gas at protesters who were throwing stones at passing vehicles. A 3-month-old baby was caught in the crossfire.
If there was water, my grandson would still be alive. I blame residents, police, and Madibeng local municipality.
As tensions mounted, government officials visited the troubled areas. In Mututlung, investigations found that a pipe and 3 pumps had been damaged.
We would expect some form of dusty water because the pumps were lying empty. And as the systems work, it would take quite a while to fill up the reservoirs, so that full scale of water would then be made and available by with the weekend.
Madibeng's former mayor Popi Magongwa was among 3 officials recalled from their positions. Municipal manager Monde Juta was sent on special leave, and a new mayor, chief whip, and speaker were appointed. Madibeng's new administration says it's working hard to root out corruption within the municipality. Residents meanwhile say they will go to the polls next month. They're hoping their voices heard and that violent service delivery protests are a thing of the past. Athlina Banti, SABC News, Brits.
All right, now staying in the Northwest province, we've just got some news in. Now, many of us have been watching and following the story very closely about the protests that are happening in Bloemhof, all on the back of water and housing that seems to be a problem in that particular area. But the news that's just come in is that these violent service delivery protests at Boitumilong near Bloemhof have escalated. The ANC leaders, including the provincial chair, Supra Mahumapelo, were escorted by police after protesters pelted them with stones. And also news just in is that an SABC vehicle and one belonging to another television crew was set alight. The protests have also spread to the neighbouring town of Christiana, where foreign shop owners were targeted. At least 13 houses around Bloemhof have now been torched. 4 trucks passing on the nearby N12 were also set alight. I know being there this morning, the police were saying, please do avoid that area at all costs. So if you're thinking of going into Bloemhof, I think more now than ever, I think it's definitely an area to stay away from. All right, let's take a break here on the program. When we return, we'll have some more election news for you. After this, stay tuned.
Nowadays, for most of us, a sneeze is not just a sneeze. It could mean flu. Or
it could be swine flu.
Because germs are getting stronger. So what will protect us? Lifebuoy Clinicare 10 with active natural shield. 10 times better germ protection. So when you're protected, all you'll say is...
Bless you.
Lifebuoy Clinicare 10.
Petrol price is gonna hike. Beat the traffic with a bike. If renovations make you cry, learn to do some DIY. When shopping, stick to no-name brands. You will save a lot of rands. Oh, oh, oh. Get budgets, lower premiums. Oh, oh, oh. Nothing rhymes with premium.
There are a lot of ways to meet the budget. SMS budget to 40322 and get low premiums on your car, home, business, and life insurance. Budget insurance, the easy way to save.
9:30 Cape Town now.
I'm sorry, sir. That flight is
That is a business class ticket.
Yes, sir. We could arrange a
Do
later
you know
flight.
who I am?
Joko is masterfully blended with the finest sleeves to give you a rich, strong, full-flavored taste.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Your attention, please. There's a gentleman here who doesn't know who he is. If anyone is able to assist him, please report to the information desk urgently.
Joko, strong enough to give you a lift when you need it.
Hi ladies, are you ready for the Almost Stain Challenge? Come and show me how fast you can get these tough oil stains out. Choose your pack.
I'll take Omo. I'll try the other one.
No scrubbing. In 1 minute, new Omo removes tough stains faster.
Right, well, welcome back. If you've just tuned in, you're watching Elections 2014. It's a special pre-election show in the run-up to next month's general elections. Can you believe it? Less than a month to go when we go to the polls. 20 years ago, South Africans took part in the very first democratic elections this country's had. We've asked some of those 1994 voters how it felt to cast their votes for that time.
Savota kahle. Sixakeke kulokhu njena ngoba sibona kufa kakhulu abantu.
Ngo-94 I was so happy ngoba uMandela ubephuma ngayitshela ukuthi ke mina njengoba kuphuma uMandela umuntu omnyama uyazi inhlupheko yethu abantu abamnyama umuntu omnyama uyakwazi ukuhlupheka kwethu uzosinceda
ke le motlotlo haholo ne ke thabile ebile go le monate le ha Mandela anatswa aya jabulani amphitheater ne ke lo teng.
First time voting, it was like a dream. Never during my lifetime a dream was achievable, a vote was achievable. But I'm glad that I experienced that, and I'm going to vote again this time.
For sivotela uMandela kwakungcono kakhulu kukuhle. Sivotela uMandela ngoba silwela nathi sazi ukuthi izingane zethu zafa.
Oh, well, there you go. I think a lot of people reminiscing there what it was like for the first time when they cast their vote 20 years ago. Let this be your first time, and you'll feel those same emotions as well. Well, is South Africa heading towards a one- or a two-party state in the near future? Some political analysts believe the battle to govern the Western Cape will reveal the answer to that question after next month's elections.
The Western Cape, South Africa's second largest economy after Gauteng. The province boasts a colourful population of around 4 million people, spoilt by its pristine natural beauty. Politically, however, things aren't quite as rosy. It's proved a tough battleground for political parties vying for its control.
It's really a combination of factors, and they can be attributed to the dynamics of the political parties that have the Western Cape as a key battleground province, but also socio and historical factors around the nature of the demographics of the Western Cape.
The DA's win in 2009 was the first time since the National Party's victory in 1994 when a single party could claim the outright majority vote at the polls. In between, the province was governed on coalitions. The first came in 1999 between the new National Party and the Democratic Party, followed by another coalition government between the NNP and the ANC in 2004. This year's poll is expected to be just as tough.
Well, it's somewhat of the last outpost, if you think about it, in the story of this ANC over the last 20 years that has helped liberate the country, that has brought democracy and freedom, that has been able to govern nationally virtually the entire country. Yet the Western Cape was that one battleground that it wasn't able to do so in.
It's not clear if the DA has done enough to hold on to the province, but what is clear is that whatever happens here on May 7th will offer a glimpse into the future of South African politics.
It will be a very indicative indication as well as to whether this notion of a one-party or two-party state is a real one. The Western Cape becomes a symbolic province as to whether we are going in that trajectory or not.
In just over 6 weeks, South Africa will have its answer.
Now, with Election Day less than a month away, political parties are using every available tool to woo voters. In the past, rallies and door-to-door campaigns have been the norm, but today, the new tool, you guessed it, it's social media.
Social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter and YouTube have emerged as important electoral campaigning tools. However, Professor Guto warned politicians to tread carefully as one wrong statement could quickly go viral.
Of course, you have to tread very carefully. The fact that you can connect very easily and communicate with the people through Twitter, through Facebook and so on, it requires a lot of diligence in how you use it. And you have to use this strategically, diligently, and not just rush. And it spreads so fast that you cannot correct it.
Social media is popular in South Africa due to the high penetration of smartphones. Research shows that Facebook has over 9 million active users in the country, and Twitter is growing rapidly with over 5 million users. Johannesburg has emerged as the top tweeting city in Africa.
The media consumption of young people and middle-class people, as well as anyone who has access to a smartphone, is moving to social media platforms.
Governor Bateman says only a few parties are doing well in the online sphere. The IEC says it foresees more young people coming to the polls on May 7th due to the social media buzz.
You post a selfie there, you're out there and you're already engaging with everybody. And I think it has really changed the way that we communicate, and it has changed the way that politics can potentially play out.
The 2014 elections in South Africa have been dubbed as the most interesting yet. However, fears that young voters might not flock to the polling station remains. But with the uptake of social media, politicians might have pushed the right buttons to encourage them to vote. Zippo Stirman, SABC News, Pretoria.
Right, social media playing a massive role in this year's elections. It's big. Every political party needs a presence there. They really do. Not just the party, the leader as well. It's a way of speaking to them. Speaking of social media, let's take a look at your views, your tweets, your Facebook messages. Lorato writing to us and saying, the fact that people still don't have water in this age is a human rights violation, and the only way to get heard is to protest. All right, Lorato, thanks for your feedback. Mzinyati saying, these are sad stories. I just wish people could vote for their party of choice. I just hope things won't turn from bad to worse. And finally, the only language politicians understand is protest. That's Brazen Do writing to us. That looks like a Facebook message here on the program. So thank you so much for writing into us. Again, just that news story that we're following this morning. Of course, the Northwest Province in the spotlight, protests that are taking place there. And the story that has happened in the last couple of hours is that an SABC news vehicle, as well as another news agency vehicle, was torched in that area in Bloemhof. We're following it closely. We'll have lots of news for you on that. But after the break, here on the Elections Special Program, Al Jamaah leader Hanif Hendricks gets his 1 minute opportunity to convince you, the voter, to put your X next to his name. Should be interesting. Stay tuned.
Frans, what the fricadel do you have in your face?
Oh, I think they are X-ray glasses.
No, man. Pause here. Ach, Frans, my skat. They don't work.
At Wonga.com, we're 100% transparent. Choose any amount from 100 to 2,500 Rand, decide when to pay it back, and we'll show you how much it costs, all before you apply. Visit Wonga.com and see with your own eyes.
Hold on. They do work.
X-ray glasses, sis. More like X-rated glasses.
Wonga.com. Fast little loans.
All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love.
Bringing you tender lamb, perfect for any occasion. Invite family and friends for a feast to remember. Whole and half lamb now selling for only $49.99 per kilo. Fruit and Veg City and Food Lovers Market, the heart of good food.
Join Discovery Insure now. Go to discovery.co.za or call us on 0860 751 751.
Women are strong. Not strong, but strong, full stop. And since strong women sweat, Shield created new clinical protection antiperspirant that's just as strong. It's different. You get better results. More than twice the protection of a basic antiperspirant. That's strong. New Shield Clinical Protection. Unapologetically strong. Shield. It won't let you down.
Oh, happy day. Vele ufake irama encane kupapa lakho ukuze lithambe. Libe bushelezi. Futhi liyehle siphungu. Vele ufake irama encane kwipapa lakho kuze ipapa lakho libe mnandi.
Right, welcome back, everybody. As regular viewers of the show will know, in this show, we afford political leaders, especially the very small ones, a 1 minute opportunity to appeal directly to the voters. So the turn this evening goes to the leader of the Al Jamaah party, Hanif Hendricks. Take a look.
We are a Muslim party, but we are a voice for all communities. We South Africans should vote for us because we're very concerned about the marginalization of the colours in the Western Cape and the Indians in KwaZulu-Natal with regard to jobs. The government is providing jobs to everyone in the country, but they are excluding colours in the Western Cape to 9%, while they are 51% of our population, and in Durban it's even worse.
All right, there you have it. That's the word from the Al Jamaah party, if that's who you'd like to vote for. Finally on the program this evening, hundreds of communities in Limpopo have been struggling with radio and television signals. Rural communities in Limpopo rely on the SABC channels for news, entertainment and educational programs. An intervention by Centec and the SABC has brought relief to stranded communities.
Minga rural community borders the Kruger National Park in the eastern part of Limpopo. Like many rural villages, this community also relies on the SABC for news and other essential information. This predominantly Tsonga area has a population of over 200,000 people. Over the past 3 decades, access to SABC radio and TV signals has been a challenge. In 2012, Centec and the SABC came to their rescue. Morgan Boweni and his family now have access to SABC News and other programs, including the programs related to this year's elections on TV and radio, which they were unable to access before.
The reception is now better. It is unlike before the signal aerial was installed. Now it's a bit better because we now have access to SABC3, but we still do not have access to ETV.
The Masisi area in the east of Musina was facing the same problem. In 2012, this signal distribution aerial was installed to enable surrounding communities to access TV and radio. The Rasivanga family is one amongst many who have benefited from this initiative. Although they don't have all the channels, they are grateful for what they are receiving.
In 2012 TV rarikuibona zvavudi yavisina problem yamanyava and then
in 2012 we had all the channels and they were all clear, but from December 2013 we were unable to view SABC3, and since then we are battling with the signal.
Ra channel ya 3 raschaibona aichatendofara zvavudi and then azvino TV aitendofara zvavudi.
Last year, about 15 families in the Patlele area were given free vision decoders by the communications department. These set boxes have educational channels, including the SABC 24-hour news channel. The set box is part of the digital migration that will see families receiving better signal and access to informative channels. 60-year-old Francina Mukwena is one of the 15 beneficiaries of the new decoder sets. The decoder will come handy for the school-going children. Like many poor families, all they have to pay for is their TV licenses.
I am very happy because from now on I'll be like other people. I was struggling, not able to watch television. I relied on my neighbors to watch my favorite programs and come home and sleep.
Minister of Communications Eunice Karim has acknowledged that signal distribution remains a challenge in the country. He says resources will be channeled to disadvantaged areas such as Minga and Masisi. I'm Mike Maringa for SABC News, Minga Village in Limpopo.
And that brings us to the end of the program this evening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with more election-related news tomorrow evening at exactly 6 o'clock. Until then, take care, have a wonderful evening, and enjoy Seven Dalan up next. Bye-bye, everybody.